Our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now.
Honey, when AMC dropped the bomb that they were yanking Snow White from all their theaters, the industry practically choked. Disney had banked on a legacy hit with an A-list cast, but AMC's move screamed the truth. The movie was bleeding cash, empty seats, empty wallets. AMC didn't even blink. They just kicked Snow White to the curb.
I have a clip of it.
Oh, okay, great.
Her being a retard.
Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That is
not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
it?
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
And let's not pretend, this disaster didn't happen overnight. The downfall dragged for weeks. Even Disney's roaring marketing machine couldn't save it from the pileup. Public meltdowns, backstage drama, endless rumors. Disney hyped Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot as their saviors. But baby, it collapsed faster than anyone expected.
So now, as the movie comes out, the two biggest stars in this movie can't stand each other to the point where they can't be in the same room.
AMC cutting the run early? That was the final death blow. Commentators scrambled for excuses. Disney reboot fatigue? Or maybe, just maybe, Rachel Zegler's cringy interviews and forced PR antics turned fans all the way off.
Cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that this time.
At the end of the day, the verdict was clear. Pathetic ticket sales, non-stop drama. The Dream Project had turned into a straight-up Hollywood horror story. Even Joe Rogan had a field day tearing the whole fiasco apart on his podcast. And you know when Rogan's dragging you, it's bad.
Rights are on the line, folks.
Bitch! The
Our
right to buy
reproductive
Cosby
rights.
sweaters?
Come on.
That's the face
Go
of a
vote blue.
serial killer.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Noted.
Rogan didn't mince words. He said AMC's move wasn't just business, it was a cultural slap. Disney's old tricks, dead and buried. And Rachel? Rogan roasted her for wrecking Disney's carefully staged PR moments, going viral for all the wrong reasons.
Primary suffering is being sent in by my company to watch a children's movie as a single man, like 2 p.m. on a Thursday. That was the first part that was a little bit weird, but I was basically the only person in the theater.
According to Rogan, Disney might have survived one slip-up, but story rewrites plus Rachel's loose cannon interviews, total disaster. Fans were excited at first. Rachel had the voice, the look, the energy, but when word leaked about missing themes and butchered characters, that excitement collapsed. What was sold as a bold update started feeling like a betrayal.
Particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely when it got announced.
White!
He wasn't a stalker, by the way.
Thing that was like trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Fans were furious. Had Disney gone too far? Rachel's interviews didn't help either. She acted like the original Snow White was old, irrelevant trash. And oh boy, people did not take that lightly. Instead of becoming the new Disney darling, Rachel became public enemy #1.
And so it was like
Those people.
very much this, yes. It
Yeah,
was
the
this
People that we
awakening
need
of,
to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
love them in the right direction.
No, the people who you need to entertain. The people who you need to serve. The people who pay your salary.
Desperate, Disney tried a PR rescue mission, talk show tours, fluff interviews. But Rachel wasn't having it. She posted online about refusing to follow corporate scripts, standing for her values. That might sound inspiring somewhere else, but in this mess, it only made things worse. Critics slammed her for sounding smug, while fans just wanted her to respect the legacy.
It's not your job. Your job is to entertain. You are paid to entertain.
Sure, Rachel had her defenders. They said she was standing up for inclusivity and modern ideals. But let's be honest, the real story was this. It became a messy clash between one headstrong star and a billion-dollar studio. Meanwhile, Disney's usual coolness, gone. Bob Iger, the man known for keeping it together, looked like he couldn't even control his own house.
The movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter of liberal.
The chaos exploded. conflicting cast interviews, swirling rumors, and then came the meltdown on The View. This was supposed to be the safe softball moment to fix everything. Instead, it turned into a live dumpster fire. Producers scrambled to steer Rachel back to the talking points. She ignored them, pushing political commentary instead of hyping the movie. You could practically see the panic behind the cameras.
That it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she.
And then, the comment that broke the internet. Rachel telling fans to move on from the original Snow White. Fans lost it. Social media went nuclear. The anger hit a whole new level, and there was no coming back.
They replaced the prince with a common criminal. So there is a prince-like figure, but he's no longer a prince. He's a...
Behind the scenes, total chaos. Producers begged to cut to commercial, but Rachel refused to back down. The hosts scrambled, the crew panicked, and boom, Rachel had to be escorted off. The screen cut to black, and within hours, the internet crowned it the meme of the year.
Actresses Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are making it very, very difficult for me to believe that there is anything redeeming about this project.
From that moment, Snow White was doomed. Every conversation led back to that meltdown. Joe Rogan didn't sugarcoat it. Disney didn't just lose control, they lost it live.
Every deviation from the original story was done for a reason. I guess what's so tedious about this movie is that every single deviation was in favor of liberalism, and a radical kind of liberalism at that.
Rachel's Disney princess dreams? Dead. Dragged for being smug, even as her defenders cried she was just being real. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot, she stayed silent, smartly dodging the wreckage, because not even Wonder Woman could save this sinking ship.
This damsel in distress, she had to be rescued by a man in order to go on and live this beautiful, happy life. Only a man could save her. The movie is problematic.
Fans rallied hard against the movie. Not My Snow White trended for days. Parents skipped the movie altogether, either disgusted by the mess or just tired of hearing about it. When Snow White finally limped into theaters, it was a full-blown financial embarrassment. Primetime screens sat empty.
Actor, you don't get to dictate anything. You don't get to dictate if a film actually happens. You don't get to dictate when it is shot, how it is shot, if you can ever speak about it to the public. You are simply just there to show up and say your lines and look.
AMC had seen enough. Normally, Disney movies get weeks to work their magic. But this time, theaters were bleeding cash, and AMC realized they had a straight-up toxic asset on their hands. They made the call no one expected. Pull Snow White everywhere. And honey, they didn't even wait for Disney's permission.
Truly want to have an actor that gets involved with your movie that constantly brings up politics and then does it even inside of the advertising and the marketing of the career.
When AMC got grilled, they didn't even bother sugarcoating it. Snow White's numbers were humiliating. Managers said people weren't just ignoring the posters, they were laughing at them. Keeping it around wasn't just bad for business, it was downright embarrassing.
Right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny...
Was Disney secretly glad? Maybe. Insiders say letting it die quietly was better than dragging out another public disaster. Joe Rogan called AMC's move a wake-up call. Not even Disney's untouchable anymore when the audience turns on you.
As the movie comes out, the two biggest stars in this movie can't stand each other to the point where they can't be in the same room.
According to Rogan, the death blow was that meltdown on The View. Before that, maybe there was hope. After it, nobody wanted to touch Snow White.
There was already an uproar about her being cast as Snow White because she is not Caucasian, she is a Latina, she is half Colombian, and so people were like, why were you cast in the first place? We just had a black Little Mermaid, now we're having a Latina Snow White, and she is literally called Snow White.
And it exposed Disney's worst nightmare. Their flawless PR machine shattered. Live TV is wild. And when Rachel went rogue, there was nothing anyone could do. The more Disney scrambled to fix it, the worse it looked. Fans didn't show up for the movie anymore. They showed up for the crash.
Now at a 1 out of 10 on IMDb for the new Snow White, and couldn't happen to a better person. What is the lesson to be learned here with this Snow White disaster?
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of.
Meanwhile, poor Bob Iger, back at Disney's helm, was handed a ticking time bomb. For years, Disney had leaned hard on live-action remakes. Slap a beloved name on a poster, families would flood theaters. Not anymore. Snow White's collapse shattered the illusion that Disney's legacy alone could carry a flop across the finish line. Critics pounced, saying Disney had lost its soul, modernizing classics without understanding what made them special in the first place.
I really hope that I have a similar heart to hers. She has this beautiful, unending kindness and positive outlook towards the world and the world around us. I wish I could be as positive as she is at times. That's certainly a difference we have, but I think it's a very human thing to not always see the bright side. But that is part of the beauty of Snow White. It has been for 88 years now that she just sees the good in everyone and everything. And I hope that I and so many people who watch this film can embody that.
Disney's tight PR machine, gone. Instead, chaos broke loose, finger-pointing, leaks, and public shade. Even insiders turned on Rachel, with a Disney producer's son blaming her interviews for the flop. Rachel hit back, but it was too late. AMC had already dropped the axe. Snow White wasn't just flopping, it was erased.
Lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old IP. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary.
Other theaters quietly pulled the movie too, but AMC made it official. Snow White was dead. Joe Rogan said it best. Back then, Disney could hide a flop. Now, one live meltdown, one viral meme, and the whole empire looks like a joke.
He's totally right. Now, of course, as we covered, the movie is terrible anyway, in its own right. It was probably going to underperform regardless. People are tired of the soulless cash grab remake thing.
And guess who got slammed with the blame? Rachel Zegler. Box office poison started trending. Some said the movie's changes doomed it, but after that meltdown, Rachel became the face of the failure. Rogan warned, clamp down too hard and fans sniff out the fakery. They want realness, just not the kind that insults them.
She's trying to reinvent herself because there's been so much blowback, and you can only imagine the studio calls about this woman behind the scene. Like, oh my God, we're $242 million in, and our lead actress hates our film, our actors, our storyline.
And the memes? Savage. Empty theaters. Mockery. Disney's golden reputation? Shattered. AMC's announcement didn't just end Snow White's run, it marked the day Disney lost its grip. Lesson learned, protect your classics, guard your stars, because if you don't, the public won't just tune out, they'll bury you.